Shy people, can I hear make some noise? Shy people out there. Alright, that's kind of a contradiction because shy people are usually, I don't want to make noise. Well, here's a really big misconception about shy people. See, we tend to say shy people, like I just did, so that's a misconception because shy isn't a character. Shy is an emotion. Shy is an emotion, it's not a character. I say that again. So basically, let's just equate it to something else. Like say, oh, you're a very happy person, that means the person is happy. But does that mean the person is happy all the time? Is that the character? No, we call it joyful. So the number one misconception that shy is a character. And this is what of the biggest barriers people have when it comes to confidence. Because self-confidence is defined as the ability, I repeat, ability. Ability means skill. I'll stress on that later. The skill for one to believe in themselves to accomplish any task, no matter the odds, no matter the adversity, no matter the difficulty. It's an ability for someone to believe in himself to overcome it. So why do I say this as a skill? Because as I said just now, shy people think like, oh, they're shy, so they can't be confident. Oh no, I can't do anything. Then they just feel like they can't talk in front of a crowd. They feel like they can't perform well against the best players in Malaysia. And they just feel really bad inside. But however, let me tell you guys, confidence is a skill. And when every skill is something you can train, something you can work for. And I truly believe this, and this is what I want to let all of you guys know today. So how can you train this skill? How? Well, how can you become self-confidence? Well, basically, let me just give you a scenario. You can't just gain it overnight. It's not something you just do. It's like you're put in a situation where you need to be confident. Like say, an airplane's falling down. You don't just say, and the pilot's knocked out. He got hit in the head by something. I have no idea. You can't just say, oh, I'll fly the plane. I'm confident even though you have no skill, because that is just, I don't know, you just call it whatever you want to call it. So confidence isn't that. That's, I don't know what you want to call it, but that is not what it means to be self-confident. Self-confident means, to be self-confident, you need to train yourself. You need to have repetition in the things you're doing. Basically, in a sport, let's just put it down to a sport, because that's the easiest way to put it down. A sport, you need to know what you're doing. The way you run, the way you hold your hockey stick, the way you kick the ball. It all is repetition, repetition, repetition. You need to train yourself to know what you're doing. You can't just start off and just be the best player in the world. All these athletes all over the world, people I know, they start off as nothing. They start off really small. They're like, how do I even hold the ball? And then, everyone starts out really badly. But then repetition, they train themselves. I am a very big victim of this because I started floorball when I was 12. It was my passion, it was my love. And I love this sport. I went for trainings every week. And when it came to Penang Floorball League, I was in Division 2. I just found myself to be really disheartened when everyone else was better than me. I was like, oh, why are these people so good? And I just took it on myself. I felt that it was my problem. But in reality, it's because I didn't train myself well enough on the weekdays or put in extra effort in training while everyone else was. So repetition builds confidence because you're put in a situation where you know what you have to do. And everybody needs to know what you're doing before you do it, because or else you'll just be walking in blindly and hurting yourself more than anything. And the big problem about repetition is that people tend to give up before they're good, before they know they can do it. Let's just take simple example, Thomas Edison, and the typical story you guys know. He had to go through hundreds and thousands of failures. I know you guys have heard this story many times, but let's just look at this again. Thousands of failures. Imagine when you're writing in a report to give your teacher your assignment or anything. You give it the first time, your lecturer says, no, this is not right, do it again. So imagine that, okay, you do it 5 times, then lecturer says, no, do it again. By that time you just feel like, I'm just going to quit university, I'm going to be a hobo for the rest of my life, I'm done. So 1,000, that's a lot. J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, you guys know?
Yeah.
Her book, Harry Potter, the worldwide acclaim, the famous Harry Potter books, they were turned down by 12 publishers. 12. Imagine you go, you fall in love with your first girlfriend, how would it be? After you sweet talk her and you're really close, you really want to get married, then she rejects you. That's the first one. Imagine falling in love 10 times, and then every single girl rejects you. How disheartened would you feel? You feel, you know what, I'm just going to be single forever alone, maybe I'll be a priest or a nun. But no, 12 times rejected, and yet she was able to reach that goal. She didn't stop believing in herself, and she managed to achieve it. Yes, she can, and so can you. Alright, let's move to the next one. Apparently I'm taking quite long. Self-talk. Self-talk. Everyone has this self-talk in themselves. This is another way to train it. Self-talk, everyone knows, like, especially guys, when you go to the gym, or the first time we step into a gym, everyone's like lifting 20 kgs, 30 kgs, then you be like, oh, I'm not muscular. You feel really intimidated, and then then by the time you're done, and then with all the things you do in your life, you say that, oh, I can't do this, it's too hard. Oh, I'm so weak, and okay, let me just move to the girls, don't be too offended by this. When you go shopping, then you find a shirt, oh, that shirt looks nice, then you try it, and it's like, oh, that's so fat. And then it just hits yourself, you just say it to yourself, it's so automatic, the way you say it. And it's something so natural that we don't know, it's actually hitting and hurting us deeply, slowly, every single time we say these things. And the thing is, if we are hitting ourselves, how would you expect other people to, who's going to tell us the things that we need to hear? Who's going to tell you, hey Chiki, I look really good today. Who's going to tell you that? Of course other people do, but then basically what I'm trying to say is, if we don't believe in ourselves in those quiet times, by that I mean, you know, in times like, oh hey, I'm Sachin, I'm really, really fun, I'm really happy person, hey, let's go and kayak or something, let's go eat, yeah. And people think, wow, you're such a fun guy. And I say, yeah, I'm a fun guy, you should hang out with me. But do I feel that way when I'm on my own? When I'm brushing my teeth, before I sleep? It's like, no, Sachin, I feel like I'm a really good guy. I think I'm really good. Who's going to tell us that? Because I know from personal experience, it's not something that easy to do. It's something a lot of us face, that in our quiet moments, in our quiet times, do we truly believe the things we say about ourselves? Everyone knows those. Does anyone know Muhammad Ali, the boxer who fly like butterfly, sting like bee? So what was his catchline? He was, I am the greatest ever. No one is greater than me. That was his tagline. He believed in that. Whether or not he believed it or not to himself, doesn't matter. But we ourselves need our taglines for ourselves. Believe. So this is a confession. When I was 15, I still do. I was obsessed with WWE. And there was this one guy, The Miz. His catchline was, I'm the... Oh God, voice break. I'm The Miz, and I'm awesome. And I just, whoa, that's such an amazing personality. I want to be like him. So what I did was, like, I associated the word awesome to myself so much. I was like, even my email now is floorball_awesomejin. I associated the name so much to myself because I wanted to believe that I was. And it was just, basically, in my time alone, I didn't believe that. I was weak. It was just ego to make myself assume that I was awesome, that I was good. And I even admitted it out loud. It's like people call me awesome. It's like, nah, I didn't really like it when other people called me that, but I liked it when I called me that. I don't know why. It's like, you don't believe it. Because, you know, sometimes you can tell when someone's talking, like someone's telling a lie to you. It's like, hey, Dean, your hair looks really good today. It's like he doesn't have any hair, so he knows that he doesn't have any hair. So sometimes, like, it's the same way as you characterize it. It's like you call yourself awesome, but then if someone calls you that, you feel like, if you don't believe that, you find something wrong in that. And that's where your positive self-talk will come out. Oh, sorry, am I over time?
It's okay, go.
Alright, so, bring it back. So we need to tell ourselves over and over again. So eventually, we believe that. Because thoughts influence action, we all know that. Thoughts influence action. So the more we think to ourselves, in our deep personal time and also every time, about how good we are, how confident we are, how we can do things really well, that's where we can truly shine. That's where our confidence grows. And how do you really know? How did I know that I got there? It's when I actually look back on the things that I've done and say, wow, I did that. Or like when your friends tell you, it's like, oh, Sachin, you did really good affirmation. Self-affirmation on the things you've done, and also receiving good praise for the things which people have told you. So there's, I'll just tell a bit of a really, really small explanation of that. So there's this play, The Beauty and the Beast by Penang Free School. Happy 199th birthday, Penang Free School today. Woo! Woo! So they did a play called Beauty and the Beast. So during the play, there was one part that the Fool, the candlestick, wanted to ring bell all around the castle to the library. It's like, we should go to the library, there's so many books there, then I screamed, Twilight! Then everyone started laughing. And then I met this friend 2 years later, and she's a really good friend of mine. Then we apparently went for the same thing. Then she like talked about the event and said that guy went to I love him. I was like, that was me. The things you have stepped out to do are actually worthwhile. The things you have achieved have actually made an effect. That's when your self-confidence grows. So in that case, from that we can derive that we can help other people. You know, we're sick of people telling us we can't do it. So let's change that culture. Let's change it to encouraging one another. Instead of telling other people they can't do that, let's start a culture where we actually motivate and encourage other people, because we're sick of this culture of people telling us we can't. So let's just tell each other we can.
Yeah.
That sounds good, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Give me help and speak to this. So, oh gosh, give me help and speak to this. So, let's just, building self-confidence in others. Because we always have a time and a place where we teach people, we educate others, and we coach others. When we teach someone a new thing, or when you're doing a group assignment and someone's like screws up or something, or someone didn't really do it right, you don't scream to them like, Dean, why did you print it properly? And it's like, oh, I know it's not done properly, you can't ask me why I didn't do it. And Dean feels like, and sometimes it might hurt Dean as well. It might hurt the person. I'm sorry for using it as for the first person I see. And even in the sport, let's just bring it back to the sport, because that's what I relate to. Like, say you did a defensive error and then you let in a goal. Then it's like, oh, goal went in. The coach suddenly gets a goal went in. It's like, yeah, I didn't see that. And then like the coach tells you, you should have done that. And what you feel is that, I'm not good enough. You just feel that air of like, I can do better, but why am I not? It just shows that you're not good enough. It's something like that. So a good thing we can do, a good practice I've actually done in US, is that when something fails, right? When something fails or someone fails to do something right, instead of catching them when they're wrong, instead we find someone else, like say Dean does something wrong, let's not just look at Dean, let's go over to Serene and say, Serene, that was a good goal you did there. Serene, that's a good pass you did there. Catch them when they're good. This is something I learned from the video, catch them while they're good. And Dean hears this and he knows he messed up, but he doesn't want to hear other people talk about it. So we feel like, oh, Serene did something good. I want to be praised by my coach as well. What can I do about it? So that's the way we can motivate others, is to catch them while we're good. If we can implement this in our management, in our friendships, in teams, in even the way we parent or treat each other, I believe this culture will like really, really take off. To catch people while they're good, and then just put them down while they're bad. And I'm a bit over time, so I'm cutting off. I didn't even refer to this anymore. I'm just going to end it like this. Well, who's going to believe in us? Who's going to tell us the things that we need to hear? Who's going to tell us we're good? Who's going to build our confidence other than ourselves? Who's going to believe in us in the quiet moments when we're all alone in the middle of the ocean? Ourselves. So we need to step up and make a point to improve ourselves. We need to start believing in ourselves, to nurture this self-confidence so that we can actually achieve the things we want to achieve. Thank you.